What are the types of inspections that you might have on your new home? Well, there's four main types. One is those that are required by your lender. Another is those inspections required by code. And then you have those required by any certification program that you've entered, maybe Energy Star, Fortified for Safer Living, many others. And then there's those that you might be unlucky enough to be part of an HOA. So we'll get into the why, how, and when of each type of inspection. So first is those that your lender requires. Why does your lender even care? Well, they want to protect their investment to make sure that if you default, they can sell the home at a price at least equivalent to what they have into it. They want to make sure that everybody is getting paid, so the money is actually going to what it's supposed to go to. How does the lender do their inspections? Well, the first thing they're going to do is an on-paper appraisal when you apply for the loan. Again, to make sure that it can be sold for approximately what it costs you to build. And then once we've poured the foundation wall, footing and wall, they're going to come out with a surveyor, shoot the corners, and make sure that it's not encroaching on the neighbor's property. It fits within the zoning restrictions before they ever let us proceed on with that. And then every single draw request that we make, that is a monthly request for payment, they will send an appraiser out here to look at the work that is done and make sure we're only asking for funds for work that is done. So that kind of covers the how and the when. The next one is code required. And the why for this is a little bit more straightforward. It's basic safety to make sure the home meets the minimum safety standards for fire, air quality, and structural. Additionally, we have adopted an energy code, so they're going to make sure that certain minimums are met for energy efficiency. The how on this is, again, it's before construction, we submit the plans for review. They make sure that, at least on paper, it is meeting those minimum standards. And then there are regularly scheduled inspections. For instance, before I could pour these footings here, they had to come and visually inspect that the width and depth were sufficient. There was the proper amount of rebar in. And there's various stages throughout construction where they come on site and a specialist who knows that area of construction makes sure it's right. The when is just established by every single township or jurisdiction, but it's typically going to be something like 6 to 10 inspections over the course of the job. After that, we have those inspections required by a certification. Let's just use Energy Star, for instance. Again, it's going to begin with an on-paper score and a review of the specifications, and then just a couple points throughout construction to verify that it's being done the way we said it would be done. And then the final, at least for Energy Star and HERS, Passive House, and so on, that's going to include something called the blower door test, which makes sure the home meets minimum air tightness standards. And then we move into the HOA. So the why of an HOA is essentially compliance with standards that community has set. It might be something like a certain amount of brick or stone being used on the front. One we encountered recently was the driveway can't be beyond a certain steepness. There's all kinds of reasons that an HOA has some standards. Mainly they're caring about what the outside of the home looks like, and probably a minimum square foot, because they want to keep the value of their community up and not see it go down. So that's the why. The how, again, begins with a prior to construction, submit your plans and specifications for approval, and they will then approve or ask for revisions. Sometimes that can delay the start of a job while we have to make some changes. And then when is, whenever a nosy neighbor complains about something, they're going to inspect, make sure we're in compliance, and then a final. So that is the various types of inspections you can encounter on home building. and a good builder is very well versed in how to navigate those and make sure those are scheduled at the right time.